Not involved.
Two astronauts who have unexpectedly been on the International Space Station for 9 months.
Don't make all those plans without me. We'll be back before too long.
Are you still rescuing those people that are stuck in the space station?
They've been left up there. Think of it.
Alright, this video is absolutely insane. Like, it's actually crazy. Imagine signing up for a simple 10-day mission in space only to get stuck floating in orbit for 283 days with no idea if you're ever gonna make it back home. Trump finally approved the mission and Elon Musk was able to bring these stranded astronauts back to Earth, but was everything really as smooth as the headlines claimed?
NASA has said those astronauts are not stranded and can use Starliner in case of an emergency.
The media keeps reporting on this like it was a simple rescue mission, but there's a lot of things that were kind of swept under the rug that not a lot of people are talking about. And today, we're going to talk about all that. Were they forced to stay quiet about what really happened? Did they see something strange while they were out there? Today, I'm breaking down exactly what went wrong, how NASA and SpaceX handled it, and why it took so long to bring them home. Let's dive in. Alright, let's rewind to June 5th, 2024, when NASA and Boeing launched the crew flight test mission aboard the Boeing Starliner.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff of Starliner and Atlas V, carrying 2 American heroes.
Commander Butch Wilmore, they're calling down to Mission Control here in Houston that the spacecraft has begun rolling into the right attitude for its ascent. The guidance, navigation, and control officer here in the room seeing good data on that.
The mission started out fine. It was a peaceful, calm day, everybody was excited, and the mission launched successfully from Cape Canaveral, Florida, carrying 2 astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams. This was supposed to be a short 8 to 10 day mission, but as we now know, things went horribly wrong.
Change in progress. Expect comm dropout in 5 minutes.
Okay, and station copies.
Well, new problems for the Starliner. More leaks and failing thrusters are complicating the flight test.
Astronauts Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore are safe at the space station right now, but docking came with some unexpected challenges.
NASA reports a major issue with Boeing Starliner thruster system stranding 2 astronauts in orbit.
Issues for the mission started around 4:30 on Wednesday afternoon. Right now, they are very concerned with why these thrusters are failing, but say they need to run a lot more tests and need a lot more time to figure out the answer.
At least 5 of the thrusters aboard the Starliner failed, making it unsafe for re-entry.
I think we'll have to take a little bit more time to figure out what's going on with the thrusters. So what the software does is it says, I won't use that thruster anymore. And so when we say failed thruster, we're talking it's not available for the GNC flight software to use.
Meaning that they had no way to safely maneuver or return home from their trip. And to make things even worse, there were multiple helium leaks in the spacecraft.
We now know mission managers are dealing with multiple helium leaks on board. One of those leaks was known about before launch.
They saw helium leaking at a faster rate than they had originally planned for.
Meaning that if they fixed the thrusters, the system might still fail. NASA immediately canceled the return mission, but here's the problem. There was no backup plan. These astronauts were now stuck.
But the big concern and what they are tracking closely is being able to bring these astronauts back here, back home to Earth safely.
But despite all these failures and malfunctions, Suni and Butch were able to board the ISS successfully, where they were greeted by 6 other astronauts who were already aboard.
I'm not sure we could have gotten a better welcome. I mean, we had music, we had Matt was dancing.
Let's go forward into Starliner, where there was a little bit of action the other day. All right, going in through the IDA, the docking adapter, and then into the spacecraft.
It looks probably a little cramped, and it's actually fairly roomy for just Suni and myself, with just the 2 of us. Obviously, you don't need a large cockpit, so it's actually sized perfectly for us as far as for controlling the spacecraft.
Oh, and you guys do know that the company NASA partnered with to send these astronauts into outer space, Boeing, is the same Boeing as in Boeing airplanes. The company responsible for some of the most catastrophic plane crashes in modern day times.
Nearly 2 years since the first 737 MAX crash in Indonesia, then a second crash in Ethiopia, a horrific culmination of a series of faulty technical assumptions by Boeing's engineers, a lack of transparency on the part of Boeing's management, and grossly insufficient oversight by the FAA.
Yeah, them. The same company that mysteriously seems to disappear people when they try to speak out against them. That's a whole topic for a whole entire different video, but to sum it up in short, there's John Barnett. He worked at Boeing for over 30 years and was one of the first to blow the whistle on major safety issues, including faulty oxygen systems on their airplanes. John went public. He testified and went deep in a legal battle against Boeing. And then, yeah, they found him in his car. They also found a letter that sounded way too manufactured about how he couldn't take it anymore, but even his close friends and family spoke out about the letter and said that didn't sound like John. John would never say stuff like that. Then there's Joshua Dean. He raised concerns about defective Boeing parts that were in the 737 MAX, which ended up having a major accident and unalived hundreds of people. Months later, he developed a rare, fast-moving illness and, well, him too. Let's just say that. He didn't make it. He was perfectly healthy, and then all of a sudden, a bacterial infection out of nowhere, and then gone. But things get even more concerning than that. Another Boeing whistleblower, Martin Big Bowler, has openly admitted he's terrified for his safety. And honestly, can you blame him? But then think to yourself, this is the company that NASA partnered with to send astronauts into outer space. The same Boeing that accidentally loses whistleblowers. Makes you wonder, right? And here's where things get even stranger. Boeing employees working on the Starliner project were reportedly arrogant, overconfident, and dismissive of safety concerns. It was even reported that helium leaks were initially found by Boeing employees but not reported.
That was on top of a small leak that was already known about before yesterday's launch.
So, was the Starliner failure just another Boeing screw-up? Or is there something deeper happening here? Sometimes people ask me, how do you not go down these rabbit holes and just get lost down there forever? Well, every now and then you gotta take a little time for yourself. And for me, that means listening to some music, relaxing to some meditation sounds, or just tuning the world out by putting in some earbuds. And that's why I have to tell you about today's sponsor, Raycon. I recently ordered a pair of earbuds and a case from this company, and right away coming out of the package, I have to admit I wasn't disappointed. One of my favorite things about Raycon is how easy it is to mix and match to show off your style. I ended up getting the purple earbuds paired with the sunset colored case, and I love the way they contrast. It's just a cool way to make them feel more personal. But of course, it's not just about looks. Raycons deliver a premium sound at an affordable price with features that make them a must-have. One thing I love is how effortless these are to pair. Pair them once and they auto-connect every time you take them out of the case. Plus, I can walk up to 33 feet away from my phone and the sound quality stays crystal clear. Oh, and the battery life is insane. They last up to 32 hours with the case. And if you're low on power, Raycon's Quick Charge gives you 90 minutes of battery in just 10 minutes. Perfect for when you're in a rush. With active noise isolation, these earbuds help me block out distractions so I can focus, whether I'm just editing, working out, or just trying to get in the zone. These are honestly some of the most comfortable earbuds that I've ever worn. They don't slip out, they don't cause ear fatigue, and I could even lay on my side without them digging in. Seriously, when I turn these on, the world just fades away. It's wild how much background noise they block out. It makes listening to music, podcasts, or even calls way better. They're just perfect for everyday use. So guys, if you want a premium sound, killer battery life, and earbuds that actually stay in your ears, go to buyraycon.com/mindseed or click the link down below to get 20% off the best-selling everyday earbuds brought to you by Raycon. And before we talk about why it took so long to bring them back, let's talk about where they were stuck for over 9 months. The International Space Station. Because let me tell you, this is no luxury hotel in the sky. The ISS is 357 feet long, about the size of a football field. It orbits 250 miles above Earth, traveling at 17,500 miles per hour. Inside, astronauts live in a pressurized tube that's about the size of a Boeing 747 cabin. Now think about that for a second. Their living quarters are the size of an airplane cabin. So imagine the last time you had a 5-hour flight and thought, I can't wait to get out of here. And then it turned into almost a year stuck inside of that cabin. Whoa. And the station is divided into different modules for research, storage, exercise, and sleeping quarters. One of the astronauts was even generous enough to give people back home a quick tour.
This is where 4 out of 6 of us sleep. And so people always ask about sleeping in space. Do you lie down? Are you in a bed? Not really, because it doesn't matter. You don't really have the sensation of lying down. Here's one sleep station right here. But you know, you can sleep in any orientation. I have it sleeping, feeling like I'm standing up right now, but like you saw, I'm on the floor. But it doesn't matter if I turn over and I sleep upside down. I don't have any sensation in my head that tells me that I'm upside down, so it really doesn't matter. So all of us sleep in a little bit of a circle. I know that there's some questions about how to use the bathroom. Well, here is the bathroom, essentially. You get up in the morning and we have a little kit, and it has all the essential things that you need, like your toothbrush and toothpaste, if you can see it. I'll have some water come out. The water is pretty neat up in space. It'll stick to your toothbrush, and it will make a big bubble. And then you can drink it.
And while all this looks really cool and fun, imagine being trapped in a metal can floating above Earth for nearly a year, surrounded by the same group of people, day in, day out.
Happy Thanksgiving! As we get ready for the Christmas holidays.
There's nowhere to go, no escape, just the same voices, the same faces, every single day.
And also this big orange thing, which is our ventilation that we get from the space station.
The same recycled oxygen, the same conversations every day. I would lose my mind. All right, so let's talk about why they were actually stuck there so long before we get into the more juicy details. Because it wasn't just one issue, it was a complete mess of technical failures, politics, and corporate delays. NASA initially planned to send another Starliner capsule to rescue them, but the vehicle wasn't ready. SpaceX had their Crew Dragon capsule ready and available, but politics slowed everything down.
It ended up being like this political football. We offered to bring them back early. This offer was rejected by the Biden administration.
Why?
For political reasons.
That's so crazy.
There's no way that they're going to make anyone who's supporting Trump look good.
It's just disgusting that they would use that as a political tool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Elon Musk was pushing for a faster rescue the entire time, but approvals were dragged out for months.
So they would have let you do it, but after the...
Yeah.
Wow. NASA can't get them.
The SpaceX Dragon spacecraft is the only one that is considered safe enough to bring them back. So the NASA concluded that the Boeing spacecraft was not safe. So that's why they're stuck there.
Holy sh**.
Yeah.
The fact that these people were left out there over political bickering is absolutely sickening. Those are our people, American astronauts. And you're telling me the reason we can't go out there and get them is because Republicans and Democrats are too busy arguing and not getting along? And on top of everything, imagine this. You're trapped up there and SpaceX had multiple Starships explode.
Breaking news out of Texas, Elon Musk's SpaceX losing contact with its massive multi-billion-dollar Starship,
which led to more scrutiny on their ability to safely bring these astronauts back home.
We have breaking news to tell you about that SpaceX test flight that exploded after making re-entry to the Earth.
Imagine if you're up there, not knowing if you're ever coming back, and you see your only hope blowing up down below you. Personally, I would be pretty nervous to get on a ship to go back home. And then you have Trump making comments on live TV about the astronauts before they were rescued. Take a look at this.
We love you and we're coming up to get you, and you shouldn't have been up there so long. We're going to get them out. We're coming up to get you. I hope they like each other, but maybe they'll love each other. I don't know. But they've been left up there. Think of it. And I see the woman with the wild hair, good solid head of hair she's got. There's no kidding. There's no games with her hair.
They're literally out there surviving off of like bags of dry ice cream, not knowing if they're gonna live or not. Just bring them back home.
Barbecued beef brisket. Pretty yummy.
And guys, listen, let's be real. Isolation is brutal. There's a reason that prisoners get sent to solitary confinement as a form of punishment. Even though you're with the same 6 people, it's still a feeling of strong isolation because you're so far away from the Earth, nowhere near home, nowhere near my own planet. Science tells us that humans start to experience psychological distress in just a few weeks of extreme isolation. And here's a quick timeline of how people start to lose their minds when they're in isolation. After the first couple weeks, you can expect sleep disturbances, anxiety, and increased stress. After a few months, cognitive functions start to decline. Long-term isolation, like 9 months to a year, one could expect to see hallucinations, depression, and altered perception of time. And that right there is the reason that things are so weird. After 283 days in space, you'd think these astronauts would be shaken up, maybe exhausted, maybe emotional, maybe even a little bit pissed off at NASA and Boeing for leaving them up there for so long. But no. Instead, every interview, every statement, they're smiling, they're laughing, acting like this was all just another routine space mission, nothing to see here.
We appreciate them. We appreciate all that they do for us, for human spaceflight, for our nation.
Now maybe they're really just that positive, and that's amazing if they are. God bless them. Or maybe they know what happens when you speak negatively against the wrong people. I mean, we just talked about what happened to people who questioned Boeing's mistakes. So after spending 9 months relying on their failed spacecraft, do you really think that these astronauts are going to risk saying something they're not supposed to? Or were they strongly encouraged to keep things positive? After months of uncertainty, NASA and SpaceX finally launch a high-stakes rescue mission to bring these astronauts back home. But how exactly did they pull it off? The Crew 8 Dragon capsule named Endeavour was sent to retrieve them. If you watch My Hero, Endeavor's a badass name because Endeavor's but he lights on fire, so let's hope the Endeavour. Never mind. This mission launched from Kennedy Space Center on March 3rd, 2025, nearly 9 months after the astronauts were first stranded. Aboard the rescue mission were 4 astronauts, Matthew Dominic, Michael Barrett, Jeanette Epps, and Alexander Grebenkin, a mix of NASA and Roscosmos personnel. Have no idea who the hell Roscosmos is. The plan was precise: launch, dock with the ISS, transfer the stranded astronauts into the new capsule, and return them home safely. The Crew 8 Dragon capsule successfully docked at the ISS on March 5th, 2025, and the stranded astronauts boarded their long-awaited ride home. After final checks and goodbyes, they sealed the hatch and prepared for undocking. Not really sure what their final checks would be because I would have been kicking that thing on my way out. But this was the moment that they had been waiting for. After 283 days in space, they were finally headed home. But what happened next? Well, on March 8th, 2025, the Crew 8 Dragon capsule successfully undocked from the ISS. The descent lasted approximately 19 hours, re-entering Earth's atmosphere on March 9th, 2025, with 4 parachutes deploying before the splashdown in the Gulf of America.
And splashdown. Crew 9 back on Earth.
SpaceX's recovery team arrived within minutes to retrieve the capsule, and the astronauts were even greeted by a pod of dolphins, which was pretty cool to see. Then the astronauts were lifted onto the recovery ship and given immediate medical evaluations. But here's the thing. After nearly a year in space, their bodies had changed drastically. Their muscles had weakened, their balance was off, and their immune systems were low. After medical evaluations, the astronauts were transported to a NASA facility for further testing. They had to relearn basic physical movements due to muscle and bone loss. Reports say that they underwent psychological assessments, though details on their mental health are very vague right now. But here's where things get strange. No major press conferences, no in-depth interviews, just short, controlled media statements. So let me get this straight. NASA and Boeing leave astronauts stranded in outer space for 283 days. The company responsible has a track record of catastrophic failures and disappearing whistleblowers. And when the astronauts finally come home, they act like nothing happened. Maybe this was really just a routine rescue mission, or maybe there's a reason why everyone is so quiet. Because when people speak out against the wrong things, yeah. So I'll ask you guys, do you think we got the full story here, or is this just the tip of something much bigger? Let me know down below in the comments while we still can, and if that was you stuck up there, would you be pissed? I would.